All right, we're live on StreamYard. Let's see how we're doing. Is it started on YouTube yet? Yeah, there we go. So we're up and running. So I'm just while we're waiting for people to show up because there's always a lag. You know, I'm sorry. I'm going to need your help, guys. I'm winging it tonight. I'm doing a night strike. I'm just winging it. You know.
Welcome to the new hit or miss.
Yeah, I went. I don't know if you're allowed to talk about gun stores or not on YouTube anymore, but I went to one, and
Yeah.
I was looking for I was looking for that particular shotgun, and they jacked the price up about $200.
I have to admit,
Damn.
I was so happy when you told me that.
Yeah. So now I'm looking at an AR-10
Yes,
in
sir.
308.
Yes, sir. Wait, you have to leave the caveat. This was this was actually a rifle that you did have on your to-do list. This
Oh
wasn't like
yeah,
you were coerced into this.
oh yeah.
I am guilty of
Wow.
coercion.
Hey, Jacob, your swag pack arrived in the mail today. Hell, I only mailed it. What's today? Wednesday?
Yes.
When did I mail it? Monday? Or was it yesterday? I only mailed it yesterday. Damn that. Well, you only live down the road anyway. You only live an hour from me. So,
It's 1 day local mail. Right?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, he lives, yeah, about an hour away. So, all right. Let me introduce my panelists. I got two today to start the show. First in was Sean Ponnery. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good to see you. I haven't seen you on the panel in a long, long time.
Wow.
You know?
You used to be on an hour earlier, so you would start when I was leaving work, so I could never make it.
Then, of course, we got my regular panelist, New York Outcast. How you doing?
Doing all right. A little tired, but hanging in there.
Tired? What, you been working hard?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You say so. You know?
Working hard, hardly working. It's one or the other.
uh, all right. So, I mean, let's see. Who we got in the room so far? Only got a couple of stragglers in right now. We got Tactical Fud was first in. Then Jacob S. Then Raphael. Then Shady Hill Homestead. Ron 2A Matters. That's all that's shown up so far. Of course, there's bound to be one or two lurkers too. So, you know, I normally give it a couple of minutes for people to start showing up, but I said I've been looking at because we're not allowed to talk about.
You are. Just
You
don't
are
name them. Yes, just don't name them.
what? Name the firearm or name the company?
The show or the shop. Don't name the shop. You can name the gun. You can talk about the gun.
Oh, okay. I was looking at a lever action 410. Had my heart set on one. And I went down the gun store yesterday. It was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah. Went down to the gun store yesterday because I was researching online and it's showing around $550 everywhere I looked. Got down the gun store and they said, "Oh, $748." I said, "Do what?" Well, then I came back. I said, "Nah." I said, "I got to think about that. That's more than I was looking at." Then I came back and I started looking, and some of those sites that were $550 yesterday afternoon, they're showing $700 and something dollars. They sort of like. So what I'm thinking was they were out of stock, and when the new stock came in, they put a new price. But isn't that illegal?
No, the way I look at it is divine intervention and common sense took over. And now you have been rescued from buying something that would have sat in your safe and you would have never used. And
Yeah.
I didn't have to be the bearer of bad news. Your shop was, that bastard.
Yeah.
Oh
Well-
man, somebody snitched. They seen you coming.
Yeah. See now, $748 for a, and it's made in Turkey. I mean, it ain't
Yeah.
worth $748. I'm sorry.
Now, there's import fees, and the distributor has to special order it and then send it to your guy. And
Yeah, but
that's all.
I mean, but when you, as I was telling my buddy who was driving, who was driving, and I was sitting, I was riding for another, $250, I can buy a Henry.
Exactly. And
You know,
did you tell
if I
everybody
wanted a
what I kept
Henry,
telling you to
but
get?
what I'm saying is, I don't want to spend that kind of money. But then, so where I'm going with this, I'm ending up. Also on my list is an AR-10, 308, one of the big boys. I think I've grown up enough to have one, and I don't have any rifles like that. The only rifle, I've got a shotgun, I've got that AR-15 on the wall there, and a 22 lever action. That's my rifles. That's all the rifles I have. Or long guns. Let's call them long guns. So, so I thought an AR-10. Well, I found one, and it's bare bones,
Long guns.
but the price is I
AR-10,
see him. Yeah.
RPK, AK, lots of long guns.
But all the what I was saying is, the price out the door. I was looking at the best price I found so far, believe it or not, is at Bud's Guns. Oops, shouldn't have mentioned it. But they don't, and they had that was a decent price, but it's still up there. But it's not thousands of dollars for one anyway.
Yeah, it's not as up there as they used to be. They have come down quite a bit.
So basically, plus, I'm going to put it on layaway anyway. So it's not that I'm coming up with the money all in one go.
Yeah.
So, and I was, I decided not to do a trade-in.
Oh, you mean with
originally?
You mean with that?
I decided not to do a trade-in, but I might now if I can get the right
numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay, so some of these guys don't know that we talked about this every morning, and it's not that I don't want Rick to have a 410. I was trying to play the devil's advocate about positives and negatives. He already owns a shotgun. He has guns in his safe that he never shoots, that are just assets that could be traded off for something nice. He had given himself a budget that was very low because he's of limited means, which is fine. But I tried to present to him this idea of, well, you have assets that can raise your limit because you can trade or sell these assets to come up with the extra money. And then you will have this very nice thing that you will never stop looking at and never stop touching and never stop wanting to play with. So what I came up with originally was get yourself a 45 Colt Henry with an octagonal barrel, and you now have a rifle in the same caliber as your single action revolver. Now you can get one of those wicked bandolier belts and have all the 45 Colt rounds in it. And you have a rifle and a pistol of the same caliber. And because you spent a lot on it, and it's gorgeous, and it's built well, and it's made in America, You're going to touch it and play with it and shoot it all the time. And then when you have a little bit of extra money, you can get a reproduction Malcolm scope on it. And then you will have that lever action sniper rifle from the 1880s that you've always wanted.
No,
And
that's
after
what
I
you've
talked to him,
always wanted.
well, after I talked to you about it, then I convinced myself to buy a Henry Yellow Boy in 44 Magnum and do the exact same thing.
Yeah, but see, I understand where you're coming from. But a 45 Colt is still not a
Mhm.
410 shotgun.
No, it's
It's
more
the
powerful.
410. See, what you're missing is I want a 410 shotgun
But you didn't give a good reason why.
because
Like
I do.
practicality. But practicality
That's
wise,
all. That's all the
utility.
reason you need. Why do you
Well,
have all them long guns on the wall? Because you
because
want
they're all
them.
military.
You don't need them. You know.
I didn't need them. They were mill serves, and they were in calibers I was interested in that actually have a practical use. I can take down
See,
pretty much any game in North America with any rifle on my
you're
wall
just see you're coming up with all these reasons to justify
because they're valid.
it.
I can take down any animal in North America with any rifle on my wall. You can't do that with your 410. And thankfully, your shop brought you back down to reality when they doubled the price on it. So they saved you from it too. You should give that man a bonus.
Yeah.
Now, I fully support your idea of the 308 because I too have one. I'm about to build another one. And I really think you can get all your lever action jollies off with the 45 Colt. It's just more practical because you already loaded. You already have a gun in it. And you could buy snake shot for it. And you could still obliterate squirrels with it if you absolutely wanted to.
Yeah.
And it's
Well, do
cheaper
you
than
have a
410.
308 New York?
No, I don't.
And you don't? Oh, okay. And you. All right. I was
Not
going to ask if you
baseball,
had
no.
one. I was going to say if you had one, was it the modern sporting rifle? I think it's how they list it.
Good call.
And, no, I'd like one. I don't know. And as soon as you say 308, I start thinking ammo cost. Yeah.
Rolling your own is the way to go. When
Yeah.
I got into 308, there was a deal for Lake City ammo, and I got a 250 round box for I think 149 bucks shipped, which sounds pricey, but I had 250 rounds of brass that I can reload later. And it's just, if you're a hand loader, that's where you start talking about operating costs. And the funny thing is if you are willing to spend $40 on a box of 20 rounds of really good quality 308, if you spent that same amount of money on the components to hand load 308, you can make 80 rounds of it. So you're still spending the same amount of money, but you get to shoot 4 times as much of it now. It depends on, do you want to save money or do you want to shoot more?
See, there you go.
Yeah, if you can justify the cost, then all you're doing is multiplying your ability to shoot more of it. And that's not a bad thing.
And with me being, for lack of a better, I won't say disabled, but me being retired, I have the time.
And you have the means. It's right next to you.
Yeah. So
I have the time. I make.
And I was talking to when I was at my friend's this morning. He's thinking of getting a 308 now too. He said, "Why in the hell did you show that to me?"
Yeah, misery loves company.
I said, "Yeah." Well, he said, "Where you going?" And I explained how I was going to do it. He's never done that. He said he thought it was a real hard procedure.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "No, sometimes it's easier than walking in a store."
Oh, to buy one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, the buddy system, it's a good, wonderful, and horrible thing at the same time, because you will enable one another. But the cool part is is you could both pull down your collar and compare bruises on your shoulder after you fire 100 rounds of 308 in one day.
Oh yeah, he's a saint. He's a saint.
Sadist?
Well, actually, I'm about 6 months older than he is. But
Yeah, so y'all can compare bruises to my bruise.
yeah. But what we were talking about, once we were talking about that, I said, we've only got. I said, it's his house, it's his backyard.
Yeah.
But I said we've only got 130 yard back there. He goes, well, he says if we go on the side up by the woodshed.
Yeah.
He said, and I moved the targets over. He said we can have close to, 160, maybe 165.
Well, I mean, I could soothe your furrowed brow a little further. They make qual targets where they're scaled down instead of a 6-inch silhouette target at 100 yards. They make it a 2.5-inch silhouette target. You set it at 100 yards, and you try to hit that target, and it will give you a 300 or 400 yard zero. So you can still do it. You just make the target smaller. Aim small, miss small.
Yeah,
That's the name of the game.
There's always that way of it too.
The way I took mine out this weekend, it was the first time I took that rifle out. I've owned it for 4 years after I built it. I finally shot it. I took my qual targets out. They were made to be placed at 75 feet, and it gave me a 400 yard zero. And you saw the video. I did a YouTube short. I shot a 2-inch group out of the second magazine I fired out of that rifle ever. It did pretty well.
Yeah. So,
even with crappy ammo.
That's the kind of target you need for your little range you go to, New York.
Yeah, I've got some small targets, 4-inch and 1.75 by 4, I think. So a couple small ones. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I find them fun. They were actually like scraps of from bigger targets or whatever and stuff. So as I cut them down, and it's good to. It's always fun just to hear the tink tink tink, but it's also good to challenge yourself a little bit. So
yeah,
actually, I have a funny story about 308. I had to apologize to Patrick Monday because he hand loads and shoots 308 forever, right? And the only reason I built my rifle in the first place was because he told me that he built his rifle and he could not stop piercing primers, and he was having all sorts of trouble with his rifle. And I'm like, come on, man, how hard could it be? So I built mine, right? And he was talking about how bad the recoil is and how bad your shoulder can get hurt if you shoot too many rounds and all this other stuff. I was like, don't be a beep. I was like, I got a 45-70 with an 18-inch barrel. I was like, come on, man up, right? I took my 45-70 out 2 weeks ago. I fired 60 rounds through it. I was a little tender Monday, right? I took this 308 out with a 26-inch bull barrel, and I fired 60 rounds through that, and I feel like I broke my collarbone. I was like, Patrick, I was like, I am so sorry. He's like, what? I was like, I was totally wrong. I was like, those 308 kick your ass.
Yeah.
My 30 doesn't even beat me up like this.
That's the one thing that I'm apprehensive about by getting one. But
I got just the thing for you when you do. We're just going to throw a limb saver on the end of it and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. The only reason mine beat me up is because my skeleton stock has a hard rubber foot on it. I put a limb saver on there, it's going to be perfectly fine.
All right. Hey, Tony York's in the house. How you doing?
A limb saver. There's a pill for that.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. That's what I've been doing for this last since I saw you guys last week. Is I geared myself up since about this time last week. Actually mainly from like to get this thing, and I'm all gun ho. I know I was going Tuesday.
Mhm.
It burst my bubble when they told me the
Yeah.
price.
Divine intervention.
You know,
Divine intervention. See all that corruption in your ear from you day after day finally paid off.
you know. So I could have it. With
The
a
410?
no,
Oh, the air tank. Okay, good.
the 308.
Yes.
With I could put down a
Oh, I promised you that if I had an extra set of reloading dice, I'd give them to you, didn't I? Let me see if I have them. I'm
yeah.
sitting right next to my bench.
If I put down 20%,
Yeah.
I could be on my way to being a proud owner.
Huh. I'm illiterate. Sorry, I don't have an extra set. I have a set of 300 Win Mag dice.
That's all right. That's all right. I can more likely I can come up with
I have
something.
I got a Lee set because I just looked up on my wall and they're way up there with all my stuff.
Yeah.
Which means I had to
Yeah,
buy
so
those.
I don't know. So,
It'll be fine. Just like shooting them. Take a deep breath and squeeze.
So I'm just going to I'm in the process right now of figuring out how I'm going to do it all. But as I was told by my very first boss I ever had at my very first job, real paying job, after getting out of school, working while you're in school, yeah, real jobs, but I'm talking about a real, 40-hour a week, job working with the big boys.
Career level stuff.
My first boss said, if there's a will, there's a way. I've always remembered that.
I tell you that every day.
Now, if I follow it, it's another thing.
Yeah, see, that's not will and way. That's cold feet. That's what does this young whippersnapper know more than I do? No, I'm gonna do it my way. And then the guy was like $750. You were like, well, I'm getting the 308 then.
Yeah. Yeah. But see, then I have I'm trying to be financially responsible.
But I called you out on that this morning too, didn't I? I knew exactly what you were saving for.
Tony says, what are you intending to use a 308 for? Targets? That's targets or how can I put it without getting myself in trouble?
Would you like me to get in trouble for you?
Lots of different targets, Rick.
Yeah. The zombie apocalypse. I'm not going to say. I don't want to get myself in trouble.
I'm going to tell Tony the same thing I told the guy who asked me why I needed a 454 Cazul the day I bought mine next to my friend. Assholes come in all sizes.
Yeah, well,
that's what you get it for.
The bottom line is, I want one. That's what. Yeah. Do you have to? That's a good question. Do you have to have a reason or intended use to buy a firearm?
That's what makes desire interesting. It's not always justifiable. It's a basic sociological anomaly. It's like, yes, I have to have Taylor Swift, but she's an idiot.
Oh, she is now after her
exactly
statement this morning.
Exactly. Yes, I have to have her, but she's still an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just curious, not being judgmental. I know that, Tony. What I was trying to say is, I reckon there's a lot of people in the chat here. If you really be honest with yourself, look in your safe I mean, some of those guns, did you really need them? You know what I'm saying? So,
No, and I had a friend in a really bad situation, and I ended up selling two of my most prized possessions in my safe to help them. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to Kodiak anytime soon. I gave up my 500 Magnum because they needed what I got out of it more than I needed the gun that just sat there. And you're right, there is cases of that. I have a lot of guns like that, but I also have most of my guns are guns I wanted that I never thought I would sell because it's like I am done buying stuff that I would trade off just because why waste my money on something that I'm not going to want to keep? Everything I have is what I would call a heritage gun now. I would keep them because I wanted them, I chose them. They're not trade stock anymore. I've narrowed it down to that. I mean,
yeah,
granted, it's
see,
still
I understand
a
what you're
lot.
saying there, but right,
Mhm.
what you call a gun that I'll never sell because it's let's call it is different to what I'd call a gun I never sell.
No, it's the same. You'd never sell it. There's a reason you would never sell it. It's just,
I
I
know
guess what you're
what
trying to
I'm
say is,
getting at is you pay to say $1,000 for this this particular item. My
right,
item only cost me 500. Doesn't make it
right.
any less valuable to me than
Yes,
yours
but
is to you.
personal attachments versus intrinsic value are two very different things. But saying you would never sell it because it's what you wanted, that is the same regardless of price. I agree with you. But like we debated you and I before, is you told me flat out, you were like, I got this Taurus and 38 special. I'm like, yeah. And you were like, I haven't shot a single round out of it since the day I moved to Indiana. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you're sitting on an asset. Why don't you liquidate that asset because you're not going to miss it? And what did you do? You sold it to a friend
I've
and you
been
gave
missing
him
it ever since.
a good deal.
Now instead of I only had 12 guns to start with. Now I'm down to 11,
Yes, but
and I keep recounting them.
it's quality over quantity though. And the
Yeah.
thing at the end of the day is you strengthened your friendship with this guy. You gave him a deal, you made a little bit of money, and now you've got a little bit of money in your pocket. And that's not a bad thing. That is not never ever feel guilty for that. Because the day I sold my so everyone knows, okay? I sold my M500-4, my backpacker, my 500 Magnum with the bear on it. That thing saved my life one time. I still sold it. I sold my 44 Magnum competitor, Smith& Wesson Performance Center revolver. Now, I got 60% of what I paid for both of them, but the accumulated money I got from both of them was exactly what this person needed. So I went to bed and I slept perfectly fine, knowing that I did something good for somebody. I can always buy the guns back. I can go and get another one. It's going to cost a lot more than I paid for it originally, but it's like even when I say I have heritage level weapons, firearms, I could still pick one of the kids that has to die if I have to. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like I almost sold my 4570. I'm glad I didn't because that's irreplaceable to me, which is why I went and shot the heck out of it 2 weeks ago and it beat me up real good, thinking, how dare you try to get rid of me?
Yeah. Yeah. You're being very quiet in this conversation there, New York Outcast.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I
Probably
mean,
don't want to hear
how do
my
you feel
opinion.
about it?
I don't think it's a practical choice for you personally. I mean, not saying it's bad or anything, but if it's a want, then hey, it's a want. But I just don't see you shooting it much.
Well, I most certainly won't, but I want one.
And
But
yeah,
but
yeah.
besides that, do you have any what's what the fire the guns in your safe, do you have any attachment to them, or you can sell them and buy them and trade them without any qualms whatsoever?
No, I got attachments, I guess. So I could sell, I guess, sell them or whatever, but I don't think that I would, just for the simple fact that I couldn't get them in a hurry. So
That is a
from
that's
here, if
ultimately
you're going to the
understandable.
gun shop, it's they're offering you what, 60% at most, something like that. So
Yeah, sometimes less.
I'm not a crackhead, so not doing that.
It always comes down to the pinch. Can you sell it yourself and get what it's worth, or do you have to liquidate it fast and take the rip off? In my case, I took two guns. One saved my life. One I sold a car to get, and I had to take the rip off because they had to have it that day. And it was like I could make it happen. It's gonna hurt for a little while, but let's make it happen. And truth be told, when they were gone and I came home and I wandered around my collection, they weren't there and I didn't miss them because they were so tucked away that I hardly ever saw them anyway. So it was like out of sight, out of mind. But you're like, I still agree. I like the idea that you're getting a 308. I really do. If you were so stuck on this lever action thing, I would still hammer the 45 Colt Henry at you day after day after day until you saw the light, because that is something you would shoot a lot. Just because you already have the ammo and you load it and you have a revolver in it, it would give you an excuse to shoot the outlaw more. Like those all are positive, points to prove that that's more practical. But you said I like AR-10s and I want one, and I'm like, I'm not going to talk you out of that. There are guns that you and I 100% agree on. The 410 wasn't one of them, but yeah, the AR-10, absolutely agree. A lever action in the right caliber, absolutely agree. But it comes down to what you want to, when do you want to put it down, and like we said earlier today, sometimes your acquisitions list, your to-do list, shifts because the deals are better on something that was further down your list. So you're like, well, I wasn't going to buy that one until I got these other ones first, but the deal is so good on that one, I'm going to get that one and shuffle the order. That's perfectly normal. That happens to everybody. It happens to me all the time.
But it goes to, I mean, I know I haven't shot. There's still a few guns in there I still haven't shot since I've been here, but
Right.
It's part of my collection.
Correct. But are you, like you just asked Outcast, are you attached to them? Truthfully, like did something happen with that gun or that made you get that gun, that it did something? Did it save your life? Did you sell something to get to that? Or you know what I mean? Like if it doesn't have any like history to you, that like it was special, there's a memory tied to it, then it's just a tool, and tools are replaceable. And if those get you to something better that is memorable, then now all of a sudden it's like, I'm going to use the AR-10. I was going to use the Henry, but let's use the AR-10. If you bought the AR-10 and you go, hey, this gun is special because I sold these two guns to get it. Now you have that gun that I'm talking about, the one that you did something memorable to get it. And it helped you go over your budget too, because you didn't have that amount of money until you liquidated those other two guns, and now you've got the nice one. That's okay. There's no shame in that.
Hey, barbecue, how you doing?
Doing all right. How about all you?
All right. We're discussing. Have you been listening, or you just get here?
I've been listening on the YouTube side for, I don't know, about 5 minutes, maybe 10.
Oh, okay. So, do you have any attachments in your safe that you don't want to get rid of?
Absolutely. I've got several of my grandfather's guns. One of those being family heirloom that I received from my grandfather when he passed, and he received it from his grandfather. So, I mean, hell would have to freeze over before that ever leaves my possession.
Yeah,
I
understand that. I mean, I've got a. It's nothing special. I mean, I got a pair of. I call them vice grips. In my tool thing behind me here, they ain't dollar value. They ain't worth a goddamn dime. But it was the first tool I ever purchased when I was out, on my first real job.
Mm-hmm.
That I could throw in the toolbox and build in the toolbox for the back of my car.
I've got mine too.
I mean, I said it ain't worth a dime, but I'm never going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I have my dad's gun. I wouldn't sell it. It's useless, but I wouldn't sell it.
Right. I mean, even if it was a wall hanger, there's some guns where there's such history or sentimental attachment or something like that, where you're not going to let it go. The last time I was on your show, I mentioned like my Ruger GP100 in the old yellow box. Absolutely love that thing because it's not adorned with GP100 in giant letters down the side and just looks like crap.
Before they did that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, this is one of the old ones. Like I said, the old yellow box. Has the box with it and everything. Now, is that a gun that I want to sell? No, but if something popped up where I was like, man, I want this gun, that's one of the first ones I would sell.
You see, Rick?
Likewise, I've got a ton of ARs, rifles, shotguns. I mean, there's a lot of guns that I have where I wouldn't want to sell them. Now, anything that belonged to my grandfather, off limits. Immediately, those will never be sold. Doesn't matter if it's completely inoperable, whatever the case. There's just sentimental attachment there that you can't put a price on. Then there's some guns like J.C. Higgins or something like that, where or better one, my Montgomery Ward double barrel 16 gauge.
Ooh.
I'm not getting rid of that because you can't find them. So in situations like that, I evaluate if I got rid of this, how easy is it for me to get another one? And that's I'm going to go back to the GP100. While I may not be able to get another GP100 as easy, that's not adorned with all the ridiculous giant lettering and everything, I can still get a GP100 very easily. And since I don't have any sentimental attachment or anything like that, that's why that's one of the first guns that I would be willing to get rid of. The ARs, I build all my ARs, so there is a little bit of attachment in that sense. However, one of the reasons I wouldn't want to get rid of those is just because there's always that little thing in the back of your head of is the government gonna pull some shenanigans and all of a sudden these are hen's teeth again. So those are sellable, but they're much lower on the list.
Yeah. You got any AR-10s?
No, actually, I've got a build to do. That is actually going to be a video series when I do that. That should be a fun one when I make that video series. I might be buying Arrow upper and lower to start that build next month, maybe. If not, I'll get the upper and lower at the beginning of the year in 2025. But and I'm going to do an LR308 instead of just an AR-10.
Okay. All right, that's what we were discussing. Was me picking one of those up.
I love the fact that we all sort of came to the same agreement, though, Rick. You can look at your collection, and it's sort of like a thing of trying to pick your favorite kid. Or if I was to use like a U571 movie reference, which guy am I going to send that I know is going to drown, right? It's like I have guns that I am attached to and I have memories with, but at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, I will still give a hard look at everything I got and go, well, I can get rid of that or that or that. There's some things I don't want to get rid of, but at the end of the day, I could replace my Beretta 81. I can replace my 10 mil 2011. I can replace my Easy Shield. It's just those don't come up with a lot of money. One gun that I do have that I could probably sell and make 4 grand off of, I, that's another one of those ones I sold a car to get it. I can't in good conscience sell it because yeah, I'd make a ton of money on it, but then if I ever wanted it back, I'd have to spend a ton of money on it. That's impractical.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
For example,
you choose your kids. Like who's the favorite?
For example, Rick,
I think that's a bad thing. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I got to jump in here on the kid thing. Honestly, I think we all know who our favorite kid is. It's just you feel shameful to say it.
I
honestly
I
think
could be
so.
like New York and have like a kid pop up, like, but I mean, in the gun analogy, of course, like just new gun all of a sudden, like woohoo!
Yeah, we all know our favorite kid's Rick. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
Rick, I would sell you in a heartbeat.
Several months ago, I was in at Tamarack, and he had, I believe it was a 1972 unfired. I mean, it was brand new. Colt Python, $1,500. He already had a guy that was supposed to be coming in to get it, and I told him, I was like, Mike, if that guy has a lapse in judgment, you call me. I was like, I don't care if I have to bring in 4 guns, and I immediately knew what guns I was taking in. I was going to take in that Ruger GP100 and my Thompson Center Performance Center LRR. Because this Python, it had the letter from Colt saying congratulations, blah blah blah. That's how we knew it was 1972. No ring around the barrel. Actually, the cylinder was almost froze up because of the machining oils had become so hard over the years. we had to turn the cylinder by hand just to free it up. Like, and the price that they put on it, I was like, oh my God. Unfortunately, the guy that was already coming in to get it got it. So I missed out, but I immediately knew what I was liquidating for that.
Yeah. Actually,
And
when I was down in the store, they had a Smith & Wesson 29 in there.
Yeah.
And it was made early 7. When did they come out? Was it?
Oh,
This was early 70s. This one.
I say.
But what I'm saying is, it came in a wooden box and everything there with it.
Mm-hmm.
$1,350.
How long ago was this?
What?
That you saw
2
this?
days ago.
Yesterday.
Ago.
What?
Yesterday.
You're giving me the number to that shop after we get off here.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you guys a story that you're gonna want to club me over the head like a baby seal. Okay. I did an estate clear out about 4 or 5 years ago. There's a video on my channel about it. I met this woman. She was very nice. She was a sweet old lady, right? And inside her safe was a Smith & Wesson Model 10 6-inch barrel, blued revolver, walnut grips. It was mint. And I said, "What's the story on this revolver?" And she goes, "I don't know. Just take it out of here." She's very anti-gun. And I said, "Well, can you at least tell me a little bit about it?" And she says, "Fine. My husband bought this in 1961 because we were a victim of a burglary. So he came home one day with this revolver, and she said he went and took it straight to the safe because he knew I didn't like it. And I snuck in one day and took it and went back to the gun store, and I told the guy that sold it to him to deactivate it. And I'm like, why would you do that? And she said, because I didn't want it working. And I said, all right, fine. So she took it back to the guy that sold it to her husband, and the way he deactivated it, like she didn't tell me the details yet. She just said she had it deactivated. So she's like, it doesn't work. And she goes, I took it back home, I put it in the safe, and he never took it out of the safe until the day he died. And I'm like, right. And she goes, and that just proves we didn't need the gun. And she's like, now you're here. Here it is. It's all yours. Take it, please. Get it out of my house. So I took it, and I got home, and I pulled back the hammer, and it was like a dead fish. And I thought, well, that's weird. And then I flipped out the cylinder, and I gave it a once over, and it looked like that not a single round was fired out of it. So I took the side plate off, and it looked fine on the inside of there. I took the grip off, and that's when I realized what had happened. She took it back to that guy, and that guy unhooked the hammer spring from the little stud underneath the grip
That's
to
what I was wondering.
deactivate the hammer. And then gave it back to her, put it back together, gave it back to her. So when I got it back and I put it back together, it was a perfectly mint, unfired Smith & Wesson Model 10, 1961, back when they blued them beautifully. Not a nick in anywhere, not on the wood, not on
You got
the
it?
frame, nothing. No, I gave it to my mentor's wife. I couldn't shoot it because I thought if I ever fired that gun, I would feel so weird trying to scrub the coon rings off that cylinder with a copper wire brush and ruining that blued finish. I was like, I can't shoot this. This is too nice. And then like my friend was like, my wife needs a carry gun. And now bear in mind, he's 78 years old. His wife's like 76, right? And he's like, she needs a carry gun. I finally got her to accept a carry gun. So I brought the gun to her. And I said, what do you think about this? And she loved it. And she took it, she picked it up, she stuck it in this little like cotton holster. She shoved it in her purse and she goes, it's perfect. That was like 5 years ago. She has still never fired it. That's why I gave it to her. Because I knew she would never shoot it. And the only stipulation I told her was, when you don't think you can shoot it anymore, give it back to me. Because I knew she'd never shoot it, but I gave it to her.
Yeah.
That's the one that got away.
Yeah.
It's one of my very first YouTube videos, by the way. You'll see it. Smith & Wesson Model 10, 1961.
Well,
Beautiful.
yeah. Well, I decided I like collecting. That's why I don't want to get rid of any. But the truth be known, I think I told you the story anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That 38 that I got rid of, it was the first or second gun I ever bought.
But you didn't really get rid of it, did you?
And the only reason, I didn't know anything about guns. And I was too ignorant or to ask anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if I had known what I know now, I wouldn't have bought it. I would have bought a 357 that could fire 38s.
Yes.
That was just a 38 special. Mm-hmm. You know, I didn't know any different. Before I said I was ignorant and didn't bother to ask. So, that's one of the reasons why I didn't shoot it. Because
the thing is, people get too hung up on 357 Magnum. Is it nice? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, 38 plus P will do a great job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
what I'm saying is,
having that gun in 38 special, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, but I understand but having the choice of being able to fire either one.
Yeah.
Is if you got a choice between buying a 38 special and a 357, you'd be a fool not to buy the 357.
Oh, 100%. When you're talking about versatility, absolutely.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying I was ignorant when I bought that gun. I didn't know what I was doing, basically.
That's the only special thing about my dad's gun. You see, the reason I won't sell it is not mostly because it's my dad's gun. It's the story behind the gun itself. What I own is a 1970s era Ruger Police Service 6.
Oh, that's friggin' awesome.
It's a pretty common revolver. However, the story behind the gun that I own is the cool story is my dad was in a bar one night with one of his friends, and he had been robbed the day before of his wedding band, and he was really tore up about it. My mom bought him another one exactly like the one he lost, but he still felt bad. And he was at the bar, and his friend at the bar was like, "Well, I've got a revolver. I'll sell it to you for $100." Now, this is back in like 1984, 85. And my dad's like, "Do you have it with you?" And he's like, "I'll tell you what. Let me go get it, and I'll come back." So he left the bar. He came back an hour later, and he's like, "Yeah, I got it right here." And this is before the Hughes Amendment and NFA and all this like crap, right? So the guy was like, "Here it is." My dad looked at it and he goes, "Yeah, I'll take it." Like he didn't even like mess with it. He's like, "I'll take it, $100. Here you go." Turns out the gun I have is a Police Service 6, which, if most of you know about these guns, they're forged guns and they're chambered in 357 Magnum. Unless you had a gun that was acquired by one of only 2 police departments in the entire country. And mine came from the Torrance, California Sheriff's Office. And they specifically told Ruger, "We don't trust our guys with Magnum. We want it 38 Special." So the side of my barrel says 38 Special. The cylinder is cut to 38 Special. I contacted a guy from Ruger. I gave him the serial number and I said, "What stops me from taking this cylinder out and putting a 357 Magnum cylinder in it? Because I know the history behind this gun, and I know that you guys didn't change the gun at all. You just changed the markings in the cylinder." And he goes, "So do you want us to send you a 357 cylinder?" I'm like, "Yes." So they did. And I have a 357 cylinder in a gun marked 38 Special because they made no physical changes to the gun whatsoever. And that's what makes it special. And that's why I'll never sell it. Because it's kind of an anomaly that only 2 police departments ever asked for. That's the cool part about that gun.
That's friggin' awesome.
And I have the original walnut grips.
Yeah. Vanessa in the chat said she's got unfluted 629 and unfluted 357 mags are in her possession along with full underlug. I'm looking for 2 more.
She had me at 629.
8 barrels.
She got the long barrel one. Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah.
She's got I think they used to call them the Hunters, where they had the unfluted cylinder. I love those. I had a 629 with a full underlug, but it was a fluted cylinder, so that was one of those guns where I was like, "Yeah, I can let this one go."
2 Live Moo has a 1928 Winchester 410 lever action. Did they make them back then?
Yeah, they did. You should have never told him that. Now Rick's going to buy that from you.
He says they never sell it.
Wow.
What was your question, Rick?
Do what?
What was your question?
What are you on about? I had no question.
Oh, I thought you said something about something being made back in the day.
I was talking about the 1928 Winchester 410 lever action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's what it means because he's got 1928 Winchester 410 lever.
Yep.
He doesn't say action. He just says lever. So I'm assuming it means lever action.
Mm-hmm.
Was my late mother's shotgun. Never sell it. So he I've been looking for one, and he's had one the whole time.
Yep.
2 Live Moo has one.
That's what he's talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
What? That butthead told me it was a Glenfield.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, Rick, we only had one subject and we almost made an hour.
I know.
Nice.
Also, yeah. Rick, I say, when I was listening earlier, I heard you kept saying a couple times, like, no, now you're down to 11, stuff like that. If you're worried about quantity, why not just go out and buy a bunch of high points or skies or something?
Well,
like Potter was saying earlier, it's about quality, not quantity.
I didn't mean it that way. It's my collection. Instead of going up, it's going down.
It's okay. Quality over quantity.
Yes.
Well, see, but then it goes back to what I originally said. A $500 gun to me is priceless. It might not be to you.
I didn't say the value is what makes it valuable. The cost doesn't matter. Like my dad's gun, he paid $100 for it. If I took it and traded it in right now at, like, say, Collector's Firearms, they might give me like $250 for it. That's not worth selling to me because I have memories with it. The guns that you are willing to part with, you don't have real memories with it. They didn't do anything memorable. The Taurus, okay, yeah, it was the first gun you bought. But think about what you did when you sold it. You had strengthened your friendship with a person that you sold it to that has been your friend this whole time. Okay, like that's the bigger memory here. So you did a good thing and you still made a couple of bucks on the side. And honestly, are you really going to miss it? No, because you never shot it. So it's like, it's no harm, no foul. You made a couple of bucks and your friend is like really your friend now. And you're still going to get your oil changed next week when he's not feeling so bad, right?
Yeah, but I don't have 12 anymore. I only got 11.
I got an idea for you, Rick.
You're going to have a 308 soon. You'll have 12 again.
Yep. And another thing, like if you're that broken up about it, when you get your 410, just find a used high point for $100.
Kill the fire alarm.
Yeah, let's say kids are deciding to burn stuff. Apparently, let's say, but find a used high point for $100, and then that takes care of what you sold. Plus, you added one to your collection.
Everybody in the audience, send Rick a super soaker.
Yeah, but I tell you what, all jokes aside, a high point is on my list.
10 millimeter?
Well, I haven't decided which one. I'm just going to get one to have one.
I'm going to coerce you into a high point 10 millimeter.
You know, because I mean, I shot a 45 ACP high point.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, it's a big old paperweight.
It's like shooting a locomotive. There's so much moving mass.
It worked.
It worked.
That's the only
reason I want one.
Just to say I got one. All else fails. You got that.
I never, ever, ever, ever judged anyone who bought a high point because the mantra of the man who created the high point gun was you need affordable self-protection. And I can respect that. It works. It's a little goofy in size and in proportion. It's a bit chunky when it reciprocates, but it works. And that is more important than its looks. And yeah, I support that 100%.
Yeah.
Get yourself a high point 10 mil. Because then you can enjoy that level of wrist snappery.
But then again, see, I'm thinking about letting go of the Beretta 92S. That's the Italian police, used one I have. And that's the only 9 mil I have. Where I'm going with this is, I haven't shot it since I lived here either. But where I'm going with this is, if shit hits the fan, there's plenty of 9 mil. I can take it off the dead bodies. So maybe I'll get a high point in 9 mil. You know what I'm saying?
Let's play with your acquisitions.
2000.
You could always trade up someday and give up your Easy Shield 380 for an Easy Shield 9. You could do that. When I bought my Easy 380, I convinced you to buy one. And you bought the exact same one I got, and you went on this show and you called it your pimp gun. Because it's got a gold barrel just like mine, right?
Yeah.
And after I got it, the first thing that I wanted was to complete the set. and now I want the Easy 9 shield, right? And my mentor, the guy that I gave his wife the Model 10 to, he tried to buy me one. Unfortunately, he bought the wrong one. He bought me a Performance Center 9, and we ended up selling it. But trading up is not a bad thing in that case. If you really thought you wanted to have a 9 again, trade the pimp gun for a 9mm pimp gun if you want to. Not if you have to, but if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I still carry that gun.
I carry mine like 3 times a week.
I carry mine 7 days a week.
Yeah, I got no qualms. I love that gun. It's a little.
And what I like about it, it's a nice size.
Yeah.
For 380, the only bad thing about it is the capacity of it. That's the only downside of it.
They sell +2 base plates.
Yeah.
You can make it a 10+1 if you want.
Well, I know. I told you that yesterday.
If you want to, we can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I carry a spare mag with me anyway. In my pocket.
It came with it. Yeah, it came with it.
So. You know, the way I look at it, if I go through those, mind you, I say that. I was reading an article in the magazine that comes with Concealed Carry Association.
Yes.
It was saying in there even though the average the average self-defense is maybe 7 yards, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's over. I think it's 5.4 rounds per incident. And before you say that's terrible, you ought to see what the police count is. It's over 8 per incident.
And they miss like more than half the rounds that they put out there because they're banned.
And they get special treatment on any gun control that comes down because they're police.
Right.
You know? But I was saying that. Plus, if you have a home invasion,
yeah,
right, and even Robbie, a lot of times there's more than one.
Yeah.
So you need the ammo.
Well,
that's why I carry spare magazine.
You have a shotgun. See, I have a Mossberg Shockwave, which has a brace on it, so it works like a stock shotgun, basically, right? And it holds, I think it's 6 rounds of Warwolf Ordnance quadruple odd buckshot. I went for the FU rounds. And at the end of the day, it's like home invasion, bring it on. Like I don't feel undergunned in my room at all, let alone this house. And like my neighborhood, the local news put out the story. My local area was under home invasion, and I took my Shockwave with the Warwolf Ordnance quadruple odd buck. That is 13 rounds of 40 caliber, by the way. Per shell, 3-inch Magnum shells, and I left it at the front door. Now, this is before I had a small herd of Yorkshire Terriers running around my house, peeing everywhere. But, you know, at the time, I took the shotgun and I clipped it on the wall right next to the front door. And I went to my dad, who was 83 or 84 at the time, and I said, in case of home invasion, use this. And he just looked at me and he goes, how do I use it? And I said, well, you take it off the wall and you put it in both hands and you flip this little switch up here and you pull the trigger and whatever's in front of it ceases to exist. That's all you got to do. Yeah. And he's like, I can handle that. And it sat there on the wall right next to my front. Every day I went to work, I would walk past my own shotgun every day. And after about 6 months, I thought, well, I guess the threat has been neutralized because nothing happened. So I took it off the wall and wiped the dust off of it and put it away.
Well, what would happen if they ran up on your door in the middle of the night and kicked your door in? Yeah, I mean, I know that's not your only firearm, but I don't know, that whole above your door or right behind your door, I always thought that's kind of a sketchy
Well, this
Yeah,
is, you gotta remember, my
line of
folks
thought.
are retired. Like, I let them live with me, right? And because my dad's got dementia, and my mom, she's just, well, she's my dad's wife. So they live under my roof. And so I left it there so he can get to it. And granted, if they were to kick the door down, they would have had to have kicked through the screen door that's got a deadbolt on it first. And the racket that they would make trying to get through that door would give my folks plenty of time to reach for that shotgun and just wait for that idiot to try to kick down the other door. Or there's a window next to that door and they could just obliterate the glass and take out whatever's on the other side. Thankfully, it's never come to that, so it's not a big deal. I took it. It's a way. I put it away already. And then as a joke, I put my AR in 50 Beowulf up there for a couple of days, and my dad's like, "I ain't shooting that." And then the one and only time in my life that I had a negligent discharge was with that rifle, and I obliterated my bedroom window with it. But we don't talk about that.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, been a great conversation, but I'm overrun 10 minutes here.
Oh darn.
Yeah. I got to get the quiz done. You know?
Yes.
So, my quiz, if you guys remember, the drawing is on the hang on, we're in September now, so October. So Wednesday the 2nd of October is when I do the drawing for the swag pack. And I'm making it slightly easier. I've changed the rules.
Oh.
Same question though, but the answer, I'm not going to be so tough on the answers. What I wanted to know was, I wanted to know the name of the real name of the horse John Wayne rode in 7 movies. I want the name of the horse and the name of the movies. Where I've changed is, if you can't find all 7, I'll take whatever you can come up with. But the main question is the real name of the horse.
You're making it too easy. Make him work for it.
You
Make
know?
Jacob work for it. He always wins anyway.
Jacob's already entered.
I can't enter.
I think that's who I saw. I haven't opened it yet, but
I can't enter because I'm a panelist.
Yeah. So, I lost it. Oh, there it is. Okay. That is the question. You email me at rickslifeasIseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. Get it into me by the 2nd of October. You'll be in for the swag pack. It's nothing big. 2 or 3 patches, some stickers, that kind of, and whatever else I can find to throw in there.
Don't downplay it. Make him win it.
So.
No, rooftop Korean like my avatar is not one of those patches.
So there we go. Mind you, the best patch in that, not patch, the best sticker in there is mine, by the way.
Naturally, it was really well.
I do throw those in. I give you 2 of those.
I wonder where that design came from.
So anyway, with that, I'm about ready to wind this up. So, let's call it. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I'm trying to read and write at the same time here. Yeah. So, been a great show. We talked about one subject basically.
Not bad for a guy who didn't have a topic tonight.
I know. See, and you all get mad at Night Strike when he does it.
That's because I don't come in as a panelist. That's why he flounders.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so now I said I'm working on getting the AR-10.
Yes.
So
100% support that.
Yeah. So there we go. So with that, Sean, do you have any shout outs or plugs?
Nah, I'll keep it simple tonight. Most of my videos lately have been video game stuff, but I am going to do a 3-part series on 3rd Gen Smiths coming very soon.
All right. New Yorker Outcast, you got any?
No, I got nothing.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Have a good night, folks.
I sorry I woke you up, you know. You very
Yeah,
quiet
actually,
tonight,
you did.
you know?
That's all right.
All right. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. And I'll be back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, the only time zone that matters. And I plan on having pizza tonight. So that's
Wait,
another
not the
reason
chicken
why I
fight?
want to close it down. I'm hungry.
You're not
You
going
know,
to chicken fight?
I'm not gonna lie. Plus, what you call it? I gotta get ready because I'm into watching Bigfoot videos again. You know?
Man.
So,
You guys need to remind Rick to do the freaking group photo from Debs before she shuts down.
oh, it's done. My
Oh, you
friend
did it?
took it, but he hasn't
Nice.
sent it to me yet.
Okay, have him send it. And put it on my
She's gone.
Discord.
Deb's gone. She came in the other day because she
Yeah.
missed us all. But
Oh, so the place is still there. She's just not running it.
yeah, she sold it.
Okay.
The guy who bought it is kept it open.
Cool. Was she in the photo?
What?
Was she in the photo?
Who? Deb?
Deb.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. My friend, we sitting around. One of the guys, a friend of mine, took the photo on his phone.
Awesome. Send
And
it
he
as soon as
said,
you
he
get
said
it. I
it
wanna
here,
see it.
send it to me. But to be honest with you, I haven't seen him since. I know he's around because I'll be missing him. But as soon as I catch him, I'll get it.
Yes, good. I
Yeah.
want it.
Yeah, because she came in. She said she was missing us. What her actual words were, she was missing the bullshit.
Telling you, Rick, she's into your bullshit. I'm just saying, you can have that Viking of a woman.
Yeah, so
She's ripe for the taking. Now she
there
ain't
we
got
go.
nothing but
So I'm
time.
gonna let everybody go. And I said I will see you next week. So good night, everybody. Good night, Sabrina.